A very good day to you, ladies and gentlemen, from wherever you're watching us. This is Herman Manyora's YouTube channel, and of course, you're just in time for another episode of the Candid Talk on this channel. I'm joined by Professor Herman Manyora. How are you, sir?
Good. Wonderful.
Okay. Yes. Well, my name is Evan, so can you say, I forgot to say that at the beginning. I can see there's still a crackdown going on quote-unquote rogue religious leaders, so to say, by the government right now, into whatever it is that happened at Shakahola. Of course, the exhumation of bodies is still taking place down there, and the number is increasing day in, day out. But I wonder, you know, a case that has startled many is the case of Yesu Atongaren. You know, Jesus, self-proclaimed Jesus from the western part of Kenya, all the way from Bungoma. So you see, this guy was arrested as well, and he's accused of money laundering.
That's a poor man. Which money laundering?
Yeah, there's another one. Does it really make sense, really?
Which money laundering?
But those are the charges that have been brought against him.
What the government should do is to tell these people, stay home until we look at your churches. That's what I've said many times. But if you are trying to charge that innocent-looking man, what will you charge him with? Some people even said you could charge him for calling himself Jesus.
Which is that a crime?
But Jesus is a name. It's just that it's not pronounced as Jesus. J in many of these places where people is pronounced almost like H. If you see those soap operas, if they are not being interpreted through lip syncing, you know, people seeing this Mexican soap, they think it's in English, it's in Spanish. If those people are allowed to voice, you'll hear a lot of that. There are many people, and if you see the scroll down there, the cast, the producer, you can't find Mr. name Jesus, but I think it is pronounced like Jesus. Jesus.
Okay.
Something like that. Yeah. So Jesus is a name. Yeah. Isa. Sisi tunaita Isa. Si watu wanaitwa Isa. Yeah.
So you think
that's what tunaita Muhammad. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
So if anything was to go by that,
you can't accuse Wanyonyi for calling himself Jesus. How will the charge stand in court? How will you even frame the charge? The charge. Yeah. So
when you accuse him of money laundering, does it really make sense?
Is it him or these others?
It is him as well.
This man who lives that life I saw there. But if they are looking for money laundering, let's go these flamboyant pastors.
Of course, right.
Flamboyant pastors who have hundreds of millions, some of them billions of shillings. Yeah, those are the ones that should go for. But surely, yes or Bwana, yes or Bwana. These are an innocent creature. Some of them could be sick. We could be taking their doctors, psychiatrists, and others to look at the people, say, are they really well? We need to help them to get better. Yeah.
But you don't. But you don't bring such kind of charges against.
No, you don't get a sick man who calls himself God, and you want to take him to court. There will be drama in court. I wish they check this guy. The sort of drama that will be in court. I'm telling you, people on TikTok will have a field day.
And of course, I had him mention and say that for him, the sun and the moon will be his lawyers. Is not going to.
Yes, you see, already started.
Actually, yeah, because what is taking place, unlike what we saw at the course with the Pastor Ezekiel Odero, is not even able to afford a lawyer to defend him at that particular
moment.
How
can a man who can afford a lawyer be money laundering? Sometimes our people in this country.
So still looking into this, why then do you think that the government would now all of a sudden start this kind of crackdown, even people whom they are not supposed to be arresting and go for guys like Jesus Otongaren? What kind of message are they trying to?
They have refused to do what I want them to do. I just want government to stop religious worship for like 30 days.
That's impossible.
What is impossible?
That's impossible. How do you stop?
I want to ask you a question. Have you been watching TV?
Of course I have been.
Did you watch TV yesterday?
I did.
Are we having more bodies being exhumed from Shakahola?
There are.
That's you have your answer. Nobody can fault us, not even the Catholic Church. If we say, in the interest of fairness, we know some churches are okay, but in the interest of fairness, there will be no religious worship in the next 4 weeks.
So who says that?
The government can say.
As who?
As government.
And who gives them the permission? Because the constitution...
We have given them the permission.
We are the...
The government can even stop you from going anywhere you are going. They tell you sit in the house.
But that would be legal.
No, it's legal. Look, you read your constitution. The government can declare a state of emergency.
As a result,
The government has, where do you live? The
Well-
Minister of Interior, not even the President, has been locking people in the houses through curfew. Amo Jona curfew.
of course, I've seen
The
curfew
government
take
can
place.
limit, physically limit your movement, leave alone going to church. The government can say for 24 hours nobody leaves this place. Didn't you see during Corona? Legally, constitutional. That's why it is government. It has power to protect people. Even if it means taking drastic action, even draconian, even outrageous action to some people. We can say no worship for the next 4 weeks.
Why? What's
The
wrong with
Catholic
worship?
Church at the Vatican can be on fire. They can say what they want to say. Just like the minister says, we better get out of FIFA. We not allow KFF to take the country in this direction. FIFA raises hell, but the minister says no. That's what we are talking about. This is, we cannot allow a country to go through what we are going through today, my friend. That's not reasonable. What do you think the world is thinking about us?
What's your idea? And of course, when you talk of the government shutting down churches for
It's not shutting
30
down churches. It's taking time to come up with a proper way of regulating, because there's need for regulation. How do we regulate? So people must sit down and look at how we shall regulate. Then vet the churches that exist. Then come up with a protocol and say in the future, if you want to register a church, these are the conditions you must meet. If you are this category of church, we know you are in business. We shall allow you to continue, but pay taxes. We create categories of churches. Nobody can stop us. It is Kenyans who are dying. The Anglican Church cannot stop us because it is not the church who is dying, it's Kenyans who are dying. And if they have nothing to fear, staying home and worshipping in the house for 4 weeks, it's okay.
And of course, you're going back to what we call...
And I'm not saying 4 weeks, it can be 1 week.
You're talking
It
of...
can be 10 weeks, it can be a year. Yeah.
You're still...
We shall do what it takes to deal with this nonsense. That's even bringing shame to the world. Now videos are doing the rounds across the world.
But of course, you're...
Of very shameful. I was just been watching one now on an international platform about a church in Kenya where women are told not to go with their undergarments so that Jesus has direct entry. What kind of shame is that?
That's a little bit weird, but let me ask, of course, you're still going back to that blanket condemnation of the church.
It's not blanket. No, you don't get me. We will create a system of vetting and of control and management. Because we must regulate. Regulate is not just registration. It's to ensure that going forward we know what you are doing. No country can allow institutions, organizations, to operate without the government knowing what they are doing. No government worth its salt. You can't just go in Germany, register something and do because you have the freedom. The government will know what you are doing. That's why the intelligence is there.
Talking of what you're saying, the president came up with this commission of inquiry that has been tasked to look into whatever it is that took place at Shakahola and of course unravel that entire misery and put to Kenyans what is it that took place. And of course, these guys have already taken the oath of office and they're up to the task right now. I wonder whether you say that that would be a good move into solving this crisis that we're having in this country.
Raila has taken it to court, so let's not talk about the establishment. I have my own thinking. But basically, our experience has shown us that these commissions of inquiry, working parties, all these things, they never produce results. These things have shown us, and we are apprehensive, that when something is hot, you set up a commission, then things go down, they cool, then life as usual. So nobody can take a commission serious in this country. If the truth and justice and reconciliation didn't go anywhere, if the commission on land inquiry did not go anywhere, what hope do I have that this one can take me anywhere? I mean, I'm being primitive by going, thinking if it happened today, then tomorrow or yesterday. But basically, it's been so long. There are too many of these. A reasonable human being will conclude that these commissions will not work. And I'm saying there's a better way. As a country, we sit down and find a way of regulating churches. That to me is simple, straightforward.
But of course, you're talking about...
As we do that, Law enforcement should be doing his work. Government disciplinary measures should be taken against those who slept on their job. That's different. You get what I'm saying? But when you do this commission, then you stop punishing the people who should be punished. You get it? It's a way of covering people. So there's like a cover.
So it's being covered in this.
So what I'm saying is, let us continue the process of establishing regulation for churches.
But of course,
and that doesn't stop the police from moving in to get criminals. Anybody involved in the name of God, anybody involved in criminal activities, those bodies there, by now there should be people facing the law. It can't be Ezekiel alone. It can't be Mackenzie alone. There are people. The government, on the other hand, should continue with its administrative processes that will net people who slept on the job. I hear they have transferred people. How do you transfer somebody who has presided over death? Because I say they are presided over. Because if that is your jurisdiction and hundreds of people were killed, buried in shallow graves, and you are there, you must face criminal charges. So that's the way to go, not a commission. No.
Talking of Raila has gone to court, do you think that it is in order for him to, of course, challenge the legality of the president's decision
to these things form a commission of inquiry? Go there.
But then, okay, just want to get your opinion on the move by Raila, because definitely he's not provided any viable solution right now.
Kenyan has the right to go to court. If you ask me what he's arguing, rightly or correctly, I don't know. He's simply saying that the power to form a commission was removed from the president and given to parliament. The rest we leave to the court to determine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Politically, how does this now train? Because a number of people are seeing and looking at the guys like Pastor Ezekiel Odero as a public enemy right now. I saw that kind of uproar in Twitter when Raila visited him down there and talked to him, and people were like saying, Baba, you've reached this point. Other people are saying you're right or you're okay. And then he went ahead to challenge the president's decision to form that commission of inquiry without providing an alternative solution to this problem.
But he provided. He said parliament should do it. Yeah. He still wants the same route, but through parliament. I don't want that route, Manyora. I say let us find a way of regulating churches and evaluating them and monitoring them in the future. Simple.
Talking about regulating churches, of course, that has been a debate in the country for a while right now. There is also another commission that was set up by the president to look into that as well.
Devil worship. What happened? No commission has ever produced anything.
So how then do we go about it? If you're
That's
saying
why I'm saying there's no need of a commission.
So what should we do?
Because in the name of a commission, a lot of sins will go unpunished. I've said, let us start the process of regulating churches. Let us establish a protocol of how to regulate them, how to vet, how to license, how to monitor them, how to categorize them. But while that is going on, let criminals face justice.
But of course, that is what the president has done.
Let government workers who slept on the job get sacked.
Okay.
Simple.
But, and okay, talking about that, you're saying let's look into how we regulate, we do all this. But of course, the president has already started that, and that is what I was telling you.
This is not regulating. This is a commission to look into a particular issue of Shakahola.
Leave alone the one looking into the Shakahola issue. There is another commission that has been set, or rather body that has been set by the president that has been mandated into looking into how we're going to regulate all this to ensure that we crop out such kind of rogue elements within the system.
I have not heard of it. I don't think it is what I'm thinking of. No.
There is a commission that is led by bishops.
That's not what I have in mind. These are very serious issues that cannot be approached that casually. No.
So you seeing these as some sort
we must talk as a country and ask ourselves, what kind of body do we need to establish to look into these things? What forum do you need? It's actually a forum. What forum do we need? What forum do we need? Who ought to be in that forum and why? If it's going to be dominated by mainstream churches, they will make it difficult for any other churches to come up. If the presence is on numerical strength, these small churches will dominate and nothing, we shall not move forward. So that kind of thinking, have I heard about it? I haven't heard about it. What is the Muslim thinking on the practice and worship of God? What are the Hindus saying? What are scholars saying? What are law enforcement officers saying? What are psychologists saying? It's a forum. You cannot wake up one day and tell me you have formed a commission to look into this. This is a serious issue. It cannot be handled by Catholic bishops or church bishops.
So how should the president...
Because the bishops you know, you may not know Jehovah. We need that Jehovah, what do you call him? Jesus of where?
Or Tongaren.
Tongaren, to be represented. Or people like him. That's what I'm saying. It's not something you can just wake up and do. We need to think. This forum is a forum. Who will attend the forum? What will be the agenda of this forum? What will be the objectives? So it's not something simple.
Then I think
it requires a lot of thinking and brainstorming and consultations, cross-sectoral consultations, people from different spheres putting heads together, relying on scholars, you know, religious scholars and academic scholars, you know, different bodies. You think about who. That can take a whole week to figure out who. And then we create that forum, and then those people attend.
But someone has to be in charge of that.
Of course someone will be in charge.
And that is why those bishops...
government is there.
And that is why those bishops have been mandated to do that.
No, they are not. They will be biased. I don't think those senior bishops of these so-called serious churches can allow Jesus of Tongaren to operate. They'll say, no, close that one. That's not the way I want us to go. I just want us to regulate and avoid excesses. Take care of the conmen, who are obviously they are conmen. People who are exploiting the ignorance of people. People who are exploiting the poverty of the people. And how do we identify them? These conmen in the church. And get rid of them. That's all. It can't. But these others, if you tell them, they will make it difficult for a new church to emerge. I don't want that. I want people to have the freedom to set their churches. I want Jesus of Tongaren, if he's not offending any law, if he's not exploiting anybody, if he's just having his ideas, to share his ideas with the people of Tongaren and beyond. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Well and good, let's wait and see whatever it is that this commission of inquiry that has been set up by the president, and of course the other body that has been mandated to look into how the religious practices in this country can be looked into and put in check, so that we avoid witnessing what we witnessed in Shakahola, that is at the coastal part of this country, that was akin to massacre. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned to some of our programs that will be coming up next. And of course, Daniel Kabiro is here and Richard Mwenja as well. I'll be also coming, bringing you up to date with everything taking place in this country. Of course, our team is on the ground focusing on each and everything that takes place in the country and beyond. And we shall keep you updated with comprehensive analysis here by Professor Herman Manyora. Till we have this conversation again, have yourself a lovely day. My name is Evans Okinyi.